The biggest issue that I'm noticing of the people coming to the space is education. At the end of the day, it's education. It's knowing, it's not only knowing the practical steps, it's knowing the layers that exist to know what you're interacting with. Because you can be looking at a website, you're going to be looking at two different websites, and they're layered at completely different layers.
And you create your wealth. And what you do with that money either siphons life out away from you, or it feeds back into you. And one of the topics that keeps coming up, and I keep getting invited to, is cryptocurrency. And I'm like, I can't learn a new way. I can't. I know they're just saying the dollar is going to fit. I know. I'll figure it out when I have to. I just don't want to. And yet then I'd look, and I'm seeing all these vibrant people that make it not feel like something hard or treacherous, but something that could be rather inspiring. So I reached out to Otto, and I was like, man, come take the stage, and let's talk about this, because I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty hot topic that we're all going to have to lean into. So please help me give it up for Otto!
Hello. Thank you for the applause. Thank you, Dr. Devin. You are the best. Honestly, thank you for asking me to do this. I love talking about crypto, and so if I can do it in front of a bunch of people on stage, I'm up for it. So quick question before I begin. I want to kind of take a temperature of the room and see where you guys are at. So who knows or has already invested in crypto or Bitcoin or anything like that? Raise your hand. Whoa. Okay. Or no, for those of you that didn't raise your hand, do you view it as evil or as good? So if it's evil, raise your hand. If it's good, raise your hand. Okay. So those that didn't, they're like, I don't know. You tell me, man. All right, good. That's what I just wanted to know where we're at, because the last time I spoke, I went very intellectual, and then I had like 3 people dozing off, and I'm like, oh, this is not the right group for that. So I want to be a little bit more inspiring with my speech today. Essentially what's happening, okay, is a massive, massive paradigm shift. Okay, we're going from centralized systems to decentralized systems. We're going from central government to decentralized government to self-governing. We're going from, and this is all, I'll get into this a little later, we're going from energy going up a pyramid, right, going up to a tip-top 1% to a toroidal field of energy exchange. Dr. Devin just mentioned that money is energy, okay? Physical money, the cash, or even the digital money that we experience, that's just a way for us to exchange energy, for us to give each other this agreement of exchange. Okay, cool. You did that for me, I did that for you, so here you go. And that's the agreement. With crypto, we've just sped it up. We've just sped up that process of exchanging energy. Right now, you go to the bank, you make a transfer, they say, oh, you got to wait 2 to 4 business days, 3 to 5 business days. Crypto, it's instant, in seconds. And so this really is a paradigm shift. It's not just another asset class. It's not stocks, commodities, crypto. It can be, and that's, in my opinion, it's their way of trying to introduce worth into it, and for us to go back to the same mindset of like, all right, you got to trade this thing. Somebody has to lose for you to win. And it was very desperate, in my opinion, the way that was introduced, like how they was incorporated into the space, because it's really like trying to keep that mindset alive, where somebody needs to lose for you to win, where it's divisive, where it's not really about community. And so, in my opinion, trading in crypto is the infiltration. That is still the infiltration of the old paradigm. What we're trying to do with crypto is we're trying to go back to the traditional sense of trading. Traditional sense of trading is bartering. Bartering, nobody loses. I have a product, you have a product, we trade, you win, I win, we go home happy. I have a service or a skill, you have a service or skill, we trade, I'm happy, you're happy, we're all good. When the monetary system was introduced, that third middle party, that's when this third thing was put into the middle of it, for then the few can manipulate it to take from the many. When that third party was introduced, that money. Even being backed by something. even being backed by something, you're still introducing this new thing, when really all we need is our skills and the products or the things that we do for ourselves. In my opinion, what happened, we've all been born into this reality where we give out our power. We're giving out our power to external sources. You look at the medical system, we're giving power out to doctors. You look at financial system, we give it to the banks. You look at education system, you give it to the schools, to the professors. Oh, they know more than I do. It's very easy to say that, to give that power out to these official sources. Crypto, in my opinion, is now giving us the ability, it's starting with the financial industry, but it's giving us the ability to take that power back and start to utilize it ourselves. And so just to kind of explain real quick the big shift that's happening here, we're going from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. I'm sure many of you probably have heard that term before, Web 3.0 or Web 3.0 wallet. What's happening is we're just flipping it on them, okay? Instead of us all accessing central servers, like when you go to Facebook, for example, or you go to Instagram, when you access that on your computer, you're going to a central server that's owned by Facebook. And because they have more than 51% of the processing power control of that space, they can change anything, they can manipulate it, they can add, subtract, whatever they want to do in that system, in that space that you're there to use, okay? What we're doing with crypto is we're flipping on them. Instead of us having to access this central server and giving them our information and our data so that we can then access all the benefits of Facebook and all the things that come with it, we flip it. We put the server in your computer. You're the server. You own your own server. You own your own data. And so then, if you flip it, there's no central server. You're the server. So what are you accessing, right? Well, you're accessing the highways. You're accessing not only the hardware cable highways, but now these, which is crypto, it's a software, it's like the operating system. You're accessing this middle highway that is allowing me to connect to you. And so, then it's about supply and demand. That's essentially what crypto is doing. It's taking away the middlemen that put in politics, they put in the manipulation, they put in all this stuff. You take them away, and now we have a self-governing system that is going to help me transact with you. So it's essentially, this is really what I think, this is a trustless system so that we can start to learn to trust each other. That's crypto. That's crypto. It's about bringing us, it's a way to facilitate the trust between us so that we don't have to do the hard work of trust. And it's specifically with something new that happened in the last couple of years, these things called Daos, decentralized autonomous organizations. And what they figured out is how to basically create a system that can not only feed, so like everybody comes together, they pool their money together, say 1,000 people pull their money together into this application, and they start to, and it's a hybrid, so this thing is a blockchain-based venture capital. That means that it can invest into things. It's a blockchain-based reserve. So like, let's say this group of 1,000 people decide, we want to invest into this guy's company that's selling crystals, right? So that guy comes in with his investment. Like, I want to invest into my company. And so he comes in with $10,000. And so he goes up to the DAO, 1,000 people, and he uploads all his business plan, his all his stuff that he wants to do with the crystal selling. And so they vote on it. It's a voting mechanism too, this DAO. And so the 1,000 people, they vote on it. And there's a little threshold and things that, you have to meet to then, be allowed to take the funds. But you do the voting, and then the funds get released. And then, there's a board, right? You have 8 people, 7 people, and they, it's people that were chosen by the community. Remember, it's all about the community. It's all about the community. And then those people then do the hard work of the transition between going from blockchain to real world. Right now, because we're still transitioning, not everything is on the blockchain. There's this little step, right, that you got to trust. But again, it's a community-driven, community-chosen. To where then that person now gets access to the tokens, to the currency of that system, of that network, at 50%. So let's say it's at $1. They can buy the token at 50 cents and create a market with their own crystal token and whatever the name of the DAO token is. And now they just created their own little separate market. Imagine that those 1,000 people, everyone kind of does that, and you have like 10, 15 things that you can choose from. And then you start using each other's tokens with each other's markets. What do we just create there? We just create an ecosystem. You know, it's an ecosystem that's benefiting from each other's ecosystems, built inside a ecosystem of that 1,000 people that came together and decided to do this together. So that's happening now. It's actually happening right now. What I just described to you is happening now. The problem is that it's happening on the global level. And we're trying to fight globalists. What are we doing? We can't fight them at their own game. That global level projects are their bread and butter. I'm going to say it's impossible, but you're going to have a very hard time fighting against that current, especially because you're going to track the evil. The more public you become with your stuff, the more it's going to attract the evil. It is happening now, but they're doing it at the global level, and I've been saying this for a few years now. It's like we're screaming into the wind with these projects, only because it's still attracting the same mindset. It's still attracting the same toxic, divisive capitalism. And again, when I say that, by the way, I'm not talking about capitalism in the sense of like, allow us to work, allow us to create, allow us to do. Stop trying to control. I agree with that. What I'm saying, the capitalism that they've sold us, where somebody needs to lose for you to win, where it's divisive, where it's tense, this type of trading that exists today, where you're kind of riding this emotional roller coaster. That's the part of crypto that I hate, is the trading. Because it's such a small, tiny part of it. The vast majority of the wealth and the value in crypto comes from the sweat equity, the interaction of the individual with the decentralized applications, with the projects. That interaction is what pays you. You can play video games, you can play these video games that are blockchain connected and get paid a salary to play video games. It's insane. There's this thing called Learn and Earn, where you can go to different websites, different exchanges, and learn about crypto and get paid in crypto. And then in that same exchange, sell that crypto for cash. All that's available right now. The biggest issue that I'm noticing of the people coming to the space is education. At the end of the day, it's education. It's knowing, it's not only knowing the practical steps, it's knowing the layers that exist to know what you're interacting with. Because you can be looking at a website, you can be looking at two different websites, and they're layered at completely different layers that make up blockchain, or that make up the internet, really. So what's happening now is it really is about survival of the technologically fittest, where if you are not allowing yourself to take in this new information and learn about it, you will be stuck in the old system, okay? That's how they're playing the game right now. And if you start to learn about it and you jump into one of their new systems, that's also a trap. If you don't do the research to know how they layered it, how they coded it, how they actually did the work on it, then you're just falling into the same the same old toxic way of doing it, just on a blockchain version of it. So yeah, there is a lot of layers to this, guys, and it's complicated. But this right now in this moment, you're hearing this because you're meant to hear this, because we're still so very early. We're still so very early. Most people don't understand what's happening. It is a paradigm shift. Somebody did the math, and I'll end with this. Somebody did the math of the inflation rate to deflation rate. So the inflation rate of fiat, of dollars, to the deflation rate of Bitcoin. Just Bitcoin alone. We're not even talking about, there's 10,000 plus projects out there, okay? Just talking about Bitcoin. Dollars have been inflating at a steady 2 to 3% a year for a while. And the last 2 years, it's been around 7 to 10%. That's crazy. That's crazy. That means that if you had $100 2 years ago, it's worth $80 now, give or take. So saving money is, if you're saving money, you're losing money. If you're spending money, it's actually better than saving. Whoa. I know, right? You've never heard that before. That's crazy, right? But that's actually the truth. Spending your money is better than saving your money because you're locking it in at a higher value than it's going to be. Now, having your money work for you, that's the best way. Have your money work for you, and then you don't have to work. And crypto is allowing us to do that. It's at a point right now, just so you have an awareness, it's at a point right now where if you invest, you can have 2.5 jobs a week worth of money coming in, depending on your effort and the amount of time you put in, or even if you invest in a little money. So this is it, guys. So here's the math. So let me finish it. All right. So so somebody did the math of the inflation rate to dollars to the deflation rate of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is deflating every 4 years, 50%. So every 4 years is getting cut in half. So right now I can tell you, wait, is that 50%? If you go from 6 to 3, is that 100%? No, that's a 50% cut. Okay, sorry. Because if you do the opposite, it's double. All right. So every 4 years, Bitcoin is getting cut in half, 50%. So right now, every 10 minutes, 6.25 Bitcoin are being minted out and distributed to every miner in the world. Okay, a miner is a person that sustains the network. They help the network with their computer. So right now it's 6.25. In 2 years, a little less than 2 years, it's going to cut to 3.125. Currently, there's around 18.5 million Bitcoins in circulation, where 2 million are burnt. That means they're gone. They're burnt, like they threw away the hard drive, threw it to a wrong address, threw away the computer, whatever, it's gone. So there's really only 16.5 million. 21 million Bitcoin will ever exist. So there's about 2 to 3 million Bitcoins that are still coming out of the system, that are still coming out of the protocol. Because of the deflation rate, because of the getting cut in half every 4 years, this is going to take another 107 years. 107 years to mine out all the Bitcoin. Okay? So somebody did the math of the inflation rate, 2 to 3%, and that's at 2 to 3%. It's not even counting the 7 to 10%, so I think the math is wrong. Where the deflation rate was at 50%. They even did a chart. They charted it out. May 1st, 2029 is when you won't be able to trade any amount of cash for any amount of Bitcoin because the cash will be worthless. Which means that 1 Bitcoin is going to be worth, and this is crazy to hear, I know, hundreds of millions of dollars. That's where we're moving towards. And the date is May 1st, 2029. I think we're going to start to really feel inflation, the hyperinflation, in about 2 years. If you're not already feeling it, go to California and you'll feel it. You'll feel it hard with $7 gas, $7 a gallon, which is weird, right? Because like the whole world is paying $2 a liter, or whatever that country is paying, but they're paying liters. Anyway, so that's where we're at, guys. We're at the beginning of the end. I think the beginning of the end started in 2009 with the real estate bubble bursting, and that was their last cash grab. That was our last one. And what we've been experiencing these last, 12 years, 13 years, is the demon writhing in pain and trying to take everything with it. It wants to survive. It wants to survive. You got to remember that right now, the people that are alive none of the people that are alive are the ones that created the system in the first place. We're just executing programs now on the good side as well as the bad side. They're all full of just people programmed doing their thing. And so that demon, that whole system is writhing in pain right now, dying and taking it all with. I honestly believe that the last 2 years is because we're shifting from this Swift system, centralized Swift system, to the decentralized blockchain. And that's just the way that they figured was the best way to introduce this new system, this new monetary system. So if your question was, will evil use it? Absolutely, they will use it, and they will use it hard, and they will make traps, and they will make it very easy to fall into those traps. and it'll be glamorous, and it'll be beautiful, just like anything else that they've done, okay? It's really going to take us individually to discern, educate, do the research, and, you know, get into the right space. And if honestly, if you really want to feel safe, just make your own. If I can give any sort of inspiration, would be to create your own. Create your own. Because finding the community that aligns with either your philosophical ideology or your religion or it's geographical, it doesn't matter what it is. Whatever the thing you all have a commonality in, find it and then create something with it in this space. The traps are not going to be the ones you create. That's as simple as that. And if you create it, you'll be safe. I can assure you. Because the way that the system is built, the way that the internet works, and the way that this whole thing is structured out now.